1919, Mr. Rishad was chairman of NASSCOM, the trade body representing India's $245 billion software industry. He is a graduate of GE's Financial Management program. Mr. Rishad has an MBA from Harvard Business School and a BA in Economics from Wesleyan University in the US. I invite Mr. Rishad Premji to deliver the convocation address.
Thank you, Professor George, for that warm introduction. And hello, class of 2024. It's a real honor, and I'm supremely excited to be here for this 13th convocation of IIT Gandhinagar. You know, many people will not know this, but I have a long and old association with Gujarat. My great-grandfather was from Kutch, and he left Kutch over 100 years ago to start a small rice trading business in Burma. So my roots are very much from here in Gujarat. And even though my Gujarati isn't great, in fact, it's non-existent, let me just say this, that hu aya avinisi khub j khush chu. So, thank you for having me. That was terrible. And I practiced that with my father-in-law many times, but, you know, thank you, Chairman, Mr. Puri, Director Muna, Mr. Chopra, members of the Senate, and other dignitaries on the dais for this opportunity. I'm truly excited to be here. I have such deep admiration for this remarkable institution with its incredibly visible and powerful global brand. In such a short amount of time, you have become known for your cutting-edge innovation, development, as well as your unmatched innovation and curriculum. Congratulations, class of 2024. Today is such a special day for you. This moment represents years of effort, sacrifice, and dedication. So please give a big round of applause to yourselves, to your parents, to your friends, to your family, to your teachers, and to this remarkable institution. You are now on the brink of a new chapter in your life. Ahead of you lies a world full of immense change and boundless opportunities. Embrace it with open arms and make the most of every moment that it presents you. 25 years ago, exactly 25 years ago, I was graduating in 1999. I found myself on a similar threshold of change and opportunity as you find yourself today. I attended Wesleyan, a small liberal arts college in the US. It was an important and formative time in my life, just like I'm sure this moment is for many of you. I entered college as a teenager, as many of you did, and I graduated in 1999 at the cusp of the millennium, now being considered an adult. You know, formal education can teach you so much. It can teach you how to code. It can teach you to practice medicine to become a doctor, to practice law to become a lawyer, to become an engineer. But honestly, I'm not sure how much it teaches you about life itself. You see, there's no formal school for life. There's no guide or navigation of the complexities and how do you live a better life. That wisdom, if it comes at all, it comes with age, it comes with experience. And so I thought, as I was thinking about what to share with you today, I was reflecting on my own life and the lessons I've learned that I think have helped me and shaped me. And so I'm going to be very brave and vulnerable to share some of those lessons with you, and I hope someone out there, maybe one of you out there, resonates with it. You know, I've discovered that I live my life through three lenses. The first is, what are the non-negotiables in my life? These are the fundamental aspects of life that should never be compromised. These form the bedrock of our existence. The second is, what truly matters in life? What truly matters in my life? These are the meaningful elements: health, relationship, experiences, and everyday pleasure. This gives life depth and also joy. And the third is, how can I make my life simpler and less complex? Sometimes it's the little things that make life easier. Simplification, I believe, brings clarity and reduces the unnecessary complexity. So let me start with the first one. What is non-negotiable in my life? I've come to realize that the most important thing for me is being authentic and living true to my values. Let me talk about authenticity first. Your greatest strength in life will be your realness, being your genuine self, showing up exactly as you truly are. The reality is people see through insincerity. They smell the bullshit, right? We all meet individuals who spin great stories, leaving us unsure whether to believe them. Then there's the person who appears to know everybody, but knows no one. And let's not forget that perfectly packaged individual who always says the right things, seeming to have it all together. But really, do people like that actually exist? Let me tell you a story about authenticity that I learned from someone not too much older than many of you here. Early in my career, I joined Bain & Company in London after graduating from business school. During a particularly demanding time, we had 3 weeks to complete a project, and we were working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. There was a young analyst on my team, just 21, fresh out of university and exceptionally talented. His commitment and his sincerity stood out. Around 10 days into the project, he approached me. It was his father's birthday in a few days, a tradition they had celebrated as a family every year. He requested the day off to continue this tradition and celebrate the special occasion with his family. I was angry. I considered the request unreasonable given the round-the-clock work we were all doing. However, he remained steadfast, and so ultimately I had to agree. While I initially felt hassled, I appreciated eventually his honesty, his openness, and his vulnerability. He held some things very dear, very valuable, and was willing to stand by them, even knowing it may risk his career. And as I thought about this incident, I realized that part of my frustration came from the fact that knowing I would never have done that. I would have been too worried about appearing non-hardworking or appearing like a slacker. And so that day I learned a very valuable lesson, to be true to yourself and to establish boundaries, whatever those boundaries may be for you, and important never to let those be crossed. The other key non-negotiable for me is values. What are your values? Your sense of fairness. How do you treat people? Those who can do nothing for you. Your humility. Always let these be your guiding light and never compromise on them. For me, values are like lines in the sand. The minute you allow them to get crossed, they get blurry, and they get more blurry, and eventually over time they disappear. So don't cross them in the first place. Early in my days at Wipro, I had a colleague who joined us from another organization. Over the years, we got to know each other well, and he shared a story with me about why he chose to join Wipro. He had been doing well at his previous organization, but they started doing things that didn't resonate, didn't align with his values. He felt uncomfortable with their decision, and so he decided to leave. When he joined Wipro, in his early days of his career, he accepted half of what he was making. Despite having a young family and modest income, he made this hard choice to stand up for what he believed in. It was a very powerful lesson for me. Doing the right thing matters. It matters always, but it matters so much more when things are hard. So don't trade your integrity for anything. It really is the most valuable thing you can own. The value that has always intrigued me personally, though, is that of humility. I truly believe one of the reasons for Wipro's success has been its humility, the openness to learn, and its willingness to be open. I learned humility on my mother's knee and my father's handling of success, unfazed and unchanged. They both taught me never to believe I was too good for people or that I knew it all. The first sign of decline comes when you think you know more than everyone else and you stop listening. Listening is one of the core skills you can own. Both of them also exemplified for me the ability to say, I don't know. I need help. Interestingly, there is a very practical economic value to humility in that it ignites our curiosity, our wonder for the world, to find out things we don't understand. In today's questions economy, asking the right questions seems to hold more value than having all the answers. Consider ChatGPT. The clearer your question, the smarter it answers. But sometimes it feels easier to talk to an AI machine than to be vulnerable with people. So be vulnerable with people. A few years after joining Wipro, I realized that my liberal arts background and finance work experience didn't match the technological understanding of many of my colleagues. So to at least pretend that I vaguely knew what I was talking about, I had to learn. So I sought out a teacher, a technologist junior to me in the company, who became my mentor. He created for me a safe space where I could ask him silly, seemingly foolish questions all the time, which frankly enabled my learning. Remember, staying humble is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. The second big lens of my life is what truly matters. Certainly, my responsibility to Wipro matters deeply, as so do some other things. But I have realized that I cannot ignore my own health, both physical and mental, as I have noticed it affects everything else in my life. Remember, after all, with everything else that matters, you are the most important character in your life. During my early years, I played sports recreationally, if gully cricket counts. However, my serious commitment to exercise began in my late 30s. Although I maintained regular exercise, the results were slow to show. Later, I also focused more on sleep. It became evident to me that our bodies heal and recover primarily through consistent quality sleep. You can't compensate by getting 5 hours during the week and 10 hours on the weekend. It doesn't work like that. Also, so I really put an effort in now over the last few years to try and get 7 hours of sleep a night. Last year, I finally realized the significance of eating right. People always say that being healthy is 80% diet and 20% exercise, and now I wholeheartedly believe that. I can't tell you how much better I feel overall, especially my mental health. It's astonishing how our food choices influence our happiness, our stress levels, our alertness, our positivity. I know your mothers will agree with me. After all, I'm sure they've pestered the warden to give you haldi wala doodh and a good meal before your exams, much to your embarrassment, I'm sure. I hope no one broke their hearts and told them that you were a tea post, drinking tea and eating a plate of Maggie at 3 a.m. before your exams. It's taken me a while to realize that self-care is important and there's no such thing as I don't have time for it. And beyond all that, make time for your friends, for your family, and your loved ones. It's those connections that make life happier and healthier, not just for you, but for everyone. It is truly the most important asset you'll ever own. The final and most important lens of living life for me has been to try and simplify it, to demystify it. I've tried to live a life free of expectations and to live as much as I can in the moment. Living with expectations is heavy, especially other people's expectations of you. Life becomes exhausting when we try to live up to other people's expectations, whether they're from our parents, from our grandparents, our siblings, our teachers, our friends, our partners, our bosses. It's equally draining to constantly compare ourselves to others. In this race of life, there will always be people ahead of you and people behind you. You may look at my life and assume I have it all, but that's far from the truth. The reality is that I, like everyone else here, measures myself and looks at people ahead of me and looks at people behind me. 17 years ago, when I joined Wipro, I made a very conscious choice to not live in the shadow of my legendary father, Rishad Premji. I didn't want to be weighed down by fulfilling his expectations or meeting others' judgments by comparing me to him. Instead, I focused on giving my best. You see, I realized the best is all I could give, even if it didn't meet people's expectations. I didn't overplan my future, I just went with the flow. And so while some people may think I followed a carefully crafted path at Wipro, the truth is actually quite different. I took jobs as they came without overthinking where they would lead me. If you had asked me in 2007 whether I would stay at Wipro for 17 years, my honest answer would have been I have no idea. In 2019, when I assumed the role of chairman, I'll complete 5 years next month, and yes, I'm still smiling. That's when the comparisons with my father and the benchmarking got more intensified. People explicitly told me that I had big shoes to fill. One of my board members offered me advice which really resonated with me. He said to me, tell people you can't fill big shoes. It's impossible. But you'll try and work as hard as you can and stitch your own. The other approach that I've taken is to try as hard as possible to live in the moment. I often ask myself, if I would live my life again, would I do it all the same? Now, don't get me wrong. We all have regrets and we would do some things differently. But I refuse to compromise on my playfulness and for my joy for life by constantly fixating on the future or feeling burdened to prove something to someone or to justify my worth. You see, the reality of our lives is now. It's the present. It's this very moment. It's actually quite liberating to think of life like that. The past is a memory. The future is anticipated. So what we truly have is this moment. So don't forget that. As graduates of this incredible school, you will have big plans and high expectations. Just don't let them overwhelm you. There's a wonder and opportunity in leaving yourself open to what the universe can unexpectedly throw your way. So before you leave campus, take a good look around you. Once more, sneak out to the banks of the Sabarmati River at midnight, grab a soda at Vandan, enjoy some butter chicken at Dawat, and don't forget to collect your Levi's jeans, the ones you keep losing in the laundry, remember? Even though you can't believe how time flew, after all, wasn't it just a few years ago that you arrived yesterday? Homesick and missing home-cooked food. You know you have made friends for life. And every year when Holi comes, you will remember them and this campus when you find a home, where you found a home away from home. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance to be here and to speak with you. As you begin this new and important journey in your life, think about defining the lenses that matter for you, that are your lenses, that are meaningful to your life. I wish you much success, happiness, and health as you navigate your lives. And yes, don't forget to live in the moment. Celebrate big today. You've earned it.